The pandemic's ongoing impact on the restaurant industry. The National Restaurant Association shows that within the first 6 months of this pandemic, 100,000 restaurants permanently shut their doors, leaving 3 million employees jobless. If more lockdown measures are imposed, the industry is on track to lose additional money and people, $240 billion in sales at risk by the end of the year. Joining me right now is former McDonald's USA CEO and the chairman of Fat Brands International, Ed Renzi. Ed, great to have you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us. First, assess the situation. How bad was this pandemic on the industry?
Oh, it's been devastating without question. Main Street is in a lot of trouble. Restaurants have been brutalized, particularly if they have nothing but indoor dining. The restaurants that have delivery and drive-thrus are faring a bit better. But those restaurants that are dependent upon family groups, young children like Chuck E. Cheese Pizza, those family entertainment centers, they've been devastated, not unlike Disney. Nobody's immune from this, and Main Street is in a lot of trouble. I talked to probably 20 to 30 women and minorities that own businesses, from pressure washers, pool maintenance, landscapers, and they're all in deep trouble, not only from the pandemic and what their customers are doing, but because they're homeschooling their children. And a lot of single mothers that own businesses are torn between what they have to do at home, their businesses, a shortage of employees, a lack of a stimulus program. They're scared to death of liability issues because of COVID contamination. Our government has done a very poor job, in my opinion, with consistent direction from state to state, county to county. You look at New York City and how they've managed this versus what's going on in Orlando, Florida. The difference is staggering. The lack of political, consistent leadership has been almost as devastating as COVID-19.
So you say political. Do you think that that this is political?
I think the way they're managing this, particularly, I look at de Blasio and Cuomo and the things they're doing in New York City, where people are creating autonomous zones around their restaurants and bars because they don't trust the government at all. So it's political in that sense.
Yeah.
I think that when you lose trust in government, it's tough to be a good citizen under these circumstances when you don't believe your leaders.
We were just talking about this, and so much trust has been lost in an environment where everything is political, including the weaponizing of our intelligence agencies. Ed, we're not so far off, though, from access to a COVID vaccine. Even then, though, restaurant owners still need to adhere to heightened cleaning, hygiene measures for their businesses. That's going to cost money. How do they regain public trust, get people dining out again?
Well, the restaurant industry has for years had cleaning and sanitation as part of their DNA. So cleaning is not an issue. We know how to clean. We know how to sanitize. Companies like Ecolabs provide great cleaning products. Pure Line Corporation sanitizing spaces. We know how to do that. The question is, are we going to have the money to get our employees back to work? Are we going to have the money to withstand the loss in business? Are we going to have the money to sustain a 25 to 50% reduction in the number of seats in a restaurant? Because these things are all about scale. And when you lose resources, you lose opportunity for profit.
Yeah, and people do not want to lose their livelihoods. Ed, one bar owner in Staten Island defying the lockdown rules. You know the story, looking to keep his bar running amid closure. Owners, Danny Presti declared his bar, Max Public House, an autonomous zone that would not comply with New York's orange zone COVID measures. He was arrested 2 times in 1 week for defying the lockdown, most recently after reportedly hitting a sheriff's deputy with his car as he tried to flee. Do you see more bar and restaurant owners pushing back and defying these lockdown rules? What's your take on what went down in Staten Island?
Well, I hope we don't get to a point of violence where decent citizens are so stressed that they do dumb things. That's just not acceptable to me under any circumstances. There's got to be logic and there's got to be rationale. But let's be realistic about this. When the governor says, don't go visit your family for Thanksgiving, and then they jet off to Mexico for a party, go to the French Laundry in Napa Valley, or all the other hypocritical things they say, it's pretty damn hard for a bar owner to say, man, those guys are doing that. Why am I getting arrested? Why are they taking my liquor license? Yeah. Why don't they arrest those guys for violating their own policies?
Really sad situation, Ed. Great to talk with you about it. Thanks so much. Come back soon, Ed. Good to see you. Ed Renzi joining us there.
Need to send money internationally? Download the Western Union app. Available 24/7. The Western Union app helps you send money anytime around the world.